years of battery manufacturing experience. In terms of number of buses that we produce, it has exceeded 10,000 around the world. So this is a range of vehicles that we have, with the first product being the full-size 12-meter seated bus, but we have since expanded to offer various products and solutions. So the buses have been tested and operated in 172 cities, 52 mainly in Europe. And these are some of the key projects that have already gone live in Europe. So we have some going on in the Netherlands and Sweden as well, near Malmo. And we have purpose-built fully electric double decks undergoing trial in London, as Colin mentioned. And with the 51 that we've introduced since August, we will complete the rollout by the end of this month. And also we have 13 units operated by Nottingham City Council. Hand over to
Hello. So a little bit about SSE, who we are, if you don't know who we are. We are the broadest based energy company in the UK. We employ 20,000 people plus. When we say broad based, we mean electricity generation, distribution, transmission, supply services, and the part of the business, the B2B offering that I sit in, which is the enterprise contracting department. So this is how we are set up. Networks. Our networks, or we call it our wires business. What we do is we put wires in the ground and we put them overhead and we deliver energy, electricity to consumers. Our retail business, that's what we do, that's how we supply energy to customers. Our wholesale business, that's where we generate the power that comes through our wires businesses and ends up with consumers. And the part of the business that I sit in, enterprise contracting, that's our business-to-business offering. So this is where we build things, we build infrastructure, we do M&E contracting, telecoms, lots of other different areas of business, which, as you'll see, when you look at the journey for this type of industry, it fits our business very well. I'm shamelessly going to steal a phrase I heard earlier, well to wheel. And with SSE, we're the largest renewables generator in the UK, so I like to think of it more as wind to wheel. And that's something that maybe when you go away today, you'll think of SSE as wind to wheel. So, enterprise contracting. We business energy supply, multi-utility infrastructure, that's gas, electricity, water, heat and power networks, M&E contracting, lighting services, telecoms, rail, and energy solutions. So you can see from that, the B2B part of our business really fits with the types of infrastructure that are being built around electric vehicle charging, not just buses, but some vehicles. So what's next for SSE? Solutions, advice, technical design, survey and feasibility, they're things that we will currently offer. Charging point supply, we work with partners, such as BYD and others, to offer that as a service. Installation, we install infrastructure, that's what we do, it's a big part of our business. So we will install the infrastructure that operators need and people need to make these sorts of projects work.
Okay, so I'll go on to talk about what was involved in the project. So various stakeholders, TfL, writing the requirements for electric buses, and then go ahead being the operator of the buses. And BYD, in conjunction with Alexander Dennis, we are the manufacturer of the vehicle. BYD ourselves, we produce the chargers, and that's where we work with SSE, who are the infrastructure supplier. And UK Power Networks, they are the distribution network operator for Southeast London, Southeast of England and London. So key ingredients which go into the project, first of all is the bus. What sort of capability determines what sort of infrastructure that's required as part of the overall project. And the bus has also got to do the duty requirements of the routes. And finally, in terms of depot, we look at the infrastructure as well as the chargers. So just very briefly on the bus, this is the BYD-ADL Enviro 200 EV. And the key point to this is the range of the buses. they're designed to do a full day's duty cycle on a single overnight charge. So that has implications on the type of infrastructure we design to accommodate that. So one of the primary motivators of electric buses was because these two routes run through central London, and they will be running through the ultra-low emissions zone as defined by the Mayor of London. What we see with these two routes is that there's a very high and distinct peak time operation, and because they carry people mostly from Waterloo Station to the City of London, where offices are. So another motivator was, of course, the environmental side of it, and as what Andy has mentioned, we take into account the well-to-wheel cycle of things, and this will help deliver cleaner air to London. So this is a picture of Waterloo Bus Garage when most of the buses are out in the day. For the charger, BYD provides the 80 kilowatt AC charger, so it comes with two leads. You have the option of charging at 40 or 80 kilowatts. And so we get to the main part, which is the challenges of this project and what are the solutions everyone came together to work out. So the primary challenge is, how do we convert a fleet of 51 diesel buses to 51 electric buses? First concern is, as most of you will know, there's not a lot of space in central London, so bus depots are very compact. There's no room to build an expansion or new site for it. And movement of buses, as I will show you in the next picture, it's not possible when the bus garage is full at night. In terms of power, we had to consider the available capacity of the surrounding area, which is surrounded by houses and shops. So we needed to work out what was the actual draw from the grid that these buses actually take, and sort of arrive at a solution which is most cost effective for the operator. And in terms of time, from the award of tender to the actual route start date, we had to maintain the operations, the usual operations at the bus depot, so it was trying to stagger the work alongside it. So on the left, you see a picture of the buses during the bus strike previously, so it had all the buses in. As you can see on the right, we have reworked the parking layout to accommodate the charging bays. And we do have a site visit later in the afternoon. If you're joining us, we'll be able to show you that. And the next question is, how much power is enough to charge all of these buses? So we looked at three solutions. The first one in blue being the 40 kilowatt solution, overnight charging, which was the eventual solution. There was also the option to fully utilize the charge rate on the BYD chargers at 80 kilowatts, which would deliver the shortest possible charging time. But as you can see on this slide over here, it would have meant a higher overall peak. And the nature of these two routes in central London was such that you don't actually need to charge up the buses in 4 hours, because we do that overnight from midnight to 7 a.m. the next morning. And then the third option was to sort of split up the charging to be in the day and at night, because the buses do come in between their spread over duties. But as this would indicate, there are different rates of charging during peak hours and off-peak hours, and we wanted to arrive at the most cost-effective solution for the operator. So the solution was eventually, we decided, single overnight charge, because the buses are capable of doing so. We are utilizing the half charge rate, but that still falls within the window of off-peak hours in terms of electricity tariffs. And the key point, because of space requirements and because of cost requirements, was that no additional vehicles were required on top of what was already operating in terms of diesel timetables. And there's no dwell time required to be built into the service, because traffic can get quite unpredictable around central London, and we want to provide a reliable service. So with overnight charging, take that out of the consideration. And the next point is we have 46 buses running from this depot and 5 from another depot for the weekend service. But we only have 43 chargers. Why? Because 3 chargers, you couldn't get access to them because they were in the middle of the yard. So this gives a snapshot of the typical day's operation. So the buses come in gradually during the evening, but the last one comes in around midnight. So you're looking at a charging window between that and till the first bus departs. And we find that the operational characteristics of these routes were such that the typical charge time of these buses will be about 2 to 5 hours. So I'll hand over to Adrian, who will elaborate on the infrastructure side.
Thanks. Yeah, the infrastructure here, there was challenges at the outset, as Leonard's already alluded to, about trying to understand the routes, trying to understand how we model the routes in terms of battery degradation of the buses, also in terms of how that looked in terms of infrastructure and the impact that that would have on the local distribution network. As I'm sure many of you that would be from London and are aware about distribution networks, there are huge challenges to be faced with in London in terms of available capacity for distribution networks. Ultimately, the nighttime charging aspect helped, because what that did was that allowed the pressure on the local distribution network to be lower than during daytime charging, which meant that the 40 kilowatt chargers were good and it worked with the route, and that was all down to the modelling that we did at the outset. The infrastructure is 2.25 megawatts of electrical load, set across 2 transformers, standard transformers, low loss, LV switchboards, and an LV distribution network that feeds the charging points, which then is 50 plus charging points, including 1 or 2 fast chargers that give the operator some flexibility if they need it. One thing that was a huge challenge for us building the infrastructure in a live environment where there's buses coming and going, was working closely with not just the bus operators, but with our other partners, the technological partners in terms of Leonard's team at BYD, and all of the stakeholders that were involved in the project. It is absolutely crucial. I think the one thing that I'll take away from today, every project that I've seen, everything that I've seen somebody talk about, it's about collaboration, it's about people working together to achieve the result. And that was certainly true in this case. It wouldn't have happened without the support from Richard Harrington at the Go Ahead Group and Leonard's team as well. So that's the one thing that I'll take away. We need to get these projects off the ground. We want to accelerate the rate of growth of this sort of infrastructure, certainly within London. Then collaboration has to be key.
Okay, so just wrapping things up, we found that the greatest barrier to mass rollout of electric vehicles could be infrastructure, but as demonstrated, there are solutions available, each considering the project's uniqueness, and that's why, like Adrian said, we had to work together in partnership towards to the success of this project. And what we wanted to achieve over here is operational flexibility, so minimum changes required from the operators so that they can deliver high standards of reliable service. And to do that, you need to understand the vehicle capabilities. So there are different types of vehicles on the market, each with its advantages and disadvantages. Understanding that is crucial. At BYD, we promote AC charging because it's efficient, simple, and cost-effective. It utilizes overnight charging. And we've established a case, as with our operation trials in London and operations elsewhere in the world. And it's important to stress that this is not the only solution, but this is one of the many solutions that will be required in order to take city transportation, the electrification of city transportation to the next step. Thank you very much.